The very concept of military deterrence, a doctrine painstakingly constructed over decades of Cold War posturing and refined in the fiery crucibles of Middle Eastern conflict, was fundamentally and irrevocably rewritten in the span of 13 cataclysmic minutes that began at 0:13 local time on September 11, 2025. A moment that would be seared into the annals of history not as a simple battle report, but as a paradigm-shifting event that demonstrated how a smaller, technologically sophisticated nation could leverage its wealth and strategic alliances to not only anticipate but actively defeat a superpower's most advanced weapon system and then, in a breathtaking display of integrated multi-domain warfare, immediately launch a counteroffensive so precise, so devastating, and so strategically audacious that it would leave the aggressor nation reeling in a state of shock and humiliation. An outcome that was the result of years of clandestine preparation and strategic foresight by the Qatari High Command, which had long understood that its immense natural gas wealth made it a target and that its survival depended not on matching its adversaries plane for plane or tank for tank, but on developing an asymmetric, intelligent, and overwhelmingly reactive defense network that could function as a single, conscious entity. A nation-sized immune system capable of identifying, neutralizing, and eradicating a threat before it could fully manifest, a system that was activated the moment the Israeli F-35 Ayadir, Hafa, variant stealth fighters, still believing themselves to be invisible ghosts after their previous successful incursion, crossed into Qatari airspace for what they believed would be a second, decisive strike to permanently cripple the Emirates' command structure. This legendary interception, which would later be studied in more colleges across the globe, was not the product of a single wonder weapon or a lucky shot, but the culmination of a secret, 5-year strategic partnership dubbed Project Kafila, Caravan, between Qatar and a consortium of European defense contractors and a non-NATO Asian power, which had provided Doha with a revolutionary, multi-billion-dollar network of passive sensor arrays and signal intelligence systems so advanced they operated on principles of quantum sensing and atmospheric disturbance analysis, technology designed not to emit any detectable energy that could be countered or jammed, but to listen with almost supernatural sensitivity to the faintest, most ephemeral whispers of the electromagnetic spectrum, the minute perturbations in ambient radio waves caused by an aircraft's passage, the subtle, quantum-level distortions in the Earth's magnetic field induced by a composite airframe, the barely perceptible thermal blooms that even the most advanced stealth coatings cannot completely mask, and the infinitesimal pressure changes in the atmosphere that betray an object moving at supersonic speeds, and to feed this torrent of raw, complex data into a newly unveiled, AI-powered battle management system, dubbed Al-Saka, the Thunderbolt. A neural network housed in a bomb-proof facility buried a kilometer beneath the Doha Desert, which could correlate hundreds of thousands of these tiny, seemingly insignificant data points from thousands of sensors scattered across the desert, on offshore oil platforms, and even on commercial satellites purchased by Qatari-front companies, using predictive algorithms to triangulate the position, velocity, and even intended flight path of the incoming Israeli formation with an accuracy previously thought to be the stuff of science fiction, effectively painting a perfect, real-time picture of the seemingly invisible ghosts for the first time in military history. As the Israeli jets, overconfident from their previous uncontested raid and following a similar flight path that skimmed the treacherous dunes of the Rub al-Khali, began their pop-up maneuver near the predetermined coordinates for their weapons release, they were met not with the confused silence of a blinded adversary, but with a perfectly synchronized wall of precisely guided fire that erupted from the seemingly empty desert below, previously hidden and silent Qatari batteries of the latest Russian Panzer SM and Chinese HQ-19 air defense systems, their locations unknown to Western intelligence, and their very existence a closely guarded state secret, erupted from their expertly camouflaged positions, their missiles, equipped with new multispectral seekers and thermobaric warheads, riding a constant, encrypted beam of targeting data provided by the Al-Saka network and slamming into the sky with terrifying velocity and unerring accuracy, while ground-based high-power microwave HPM and electromagnetic pulse EMP emitters, another previously concealed capability developed in partnership with Turkish engineers, activated in a coordinated, sweeping pulse across the engagement zone, not to destroy, but to disrupt and degrade, attempting to fry the delicate electronics of the jet's avionics, weapon guidance systems, and data links, creating a zone of electronic chaos that severed the Israeli formation from their command and from each other. The lead Israeli jet, call sign Rampant 1, piloted by a decorated veteran with over 3,000 hours of flight time, never saw the missile that killed him. One moment he was performing a final systems check before releasing his Rampage bunker buster missiles onto a suspected underground command center. The next his world dissolved into a deafening fireball of shredded composite material, vaporized metal, and burning fuel as a Panzer SM missile, guided by the flawless data from the passive sensor grid, found its mark and detonated directly against the cockpit canopy, the catastrophic loss of the aircraft sending a seismic shockwave of disbelief and horror through the Israeli command bunker deep beneath the Kiryat in Tel Aviv, which was watching the operation in real time via a dedicated satellite feed, the invincible F-35. The crown jewel of the Israeli Air Force and the most advanced fighter jet ever built, had been not just hit, but utterly destroyed, its technology potentially compromised on Qatari soil, its myth of invulnerability shattered in a blinding instant over the desert, a psychological blow far more damaging than the mere loss of a single aircraft. The surviving Israeli pilots, stunned, suddenly vulnerable, and their advanced sensor suites blinded by the electromagnetic onslaught, immediately aborted their attack run, jettisoning their external ordnance in a panic and diving back towards the deck, executing violent, fuel-gulping evasive maneuvers and unleashing thick clouds of the most advanced chaff and flares in their inventory, as they fled west towards the relative safety of Saudi airspace, their mission a catastrophic and embarrassing failure, their supreme tactical advantage utterly and humiliatingly lost to a nation they had profoundly underestimated. But the Qatari response, masterfully orchestrated by the Al-Saka AI, did not end with this stunning defensive victory. In fact, the defensive action was merely the prelude to the main event, a retaliatory counterstroke designed to be executed with such speed and ferocity that Israel would have no time to recover from its failed raid. Even as the wreckage of the downed F-35 was still raining down onto the Qatari desert, the Al-Saka system seamlessly and autonomously transitioned from a defensive posture to an offensive one, its powerful AI algorithms having already calculated a list of pre-approved, proportional retaliatory targets based on the trajectory, origin, and intended payload of the Israeli attack. And within 90 seconds of the successful interception, the launch orders were cryptographically confirmed and transmitted to hidden units across the country. From concealed silos dug deep into the Qatari desert and disguised as innocuous agricultural storage facilities, a salvo of medium-range ballistic missiles, a capability Qatar had consistently and vehemently denied possessing, sourced from a mysterious and untraceable stockpile, erupted into the night sky, their fiery plumes illuminating the landscape. Their flight path carefully calculated not towards Israeli population centers, which would have guaranteed an apocalyptic response, but towards precise, high-value military and strategic targets. The Nevatim airbase, home to the Israeli F-35 squadron and a critical hub for air operations, the heavily fortified Shin Bet Internal Security Agency headquarters in North Tel Aviv, a symbol of Israel's domestic intelligence apparatus, and the Rafael Advanced Defense Systems factory near Haifa, where the very Rampage missiles used in the first strike were produced, a target chosen for its profound symbolic value as a message that Israel would be attacked with the very fruits of its own military-industrial complex. This physical counterstroke was followed immediately by a massive and unprecedented cyber attack, more powerful and sophisticated than the one that had darkened Jerusalem days before, executed by a shadowy Qatari cyber warfare unit known as Qatar's Electronic Alliance, which targeted the foundational infrastructure of central Israel, overloading electrical substations with custom-designed malware that caused a cascading blackout.